Welcome to Empire Building. I'm Wendy Papazan, and together with my 4 co-hosts, we bring you weekly unfiltered conversations about leadership, growing a big empire, and living on your own terms.
I'm Kimber Leviman-Keaty. We are investors and wealth builders with over $75 million in combined net worth.
I'm Sarah Reynolds. We are visionaries who built more than 50 businesses with over $122 million in annual revenue.
I'm Tiffany Fikes. We've led thousands of people and do it all while being pretty good moms.
And I'm Seychelle Van Poole. We are your podcast to learn how to build big businesses and even bigger lives.
Hello, listeners. This is Wendy Papazan, and I'm here with the beautiful and talented Tiffany Fikes, and we want to welcome you to another amazing episode of the Empire Building Podcast. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing great. We're in full summer swing and no alarms in my house, which is awesome.
Yay. Yay. I love that for you because you are my friend that sleeps in.
That's right. My perfect circadian rhythm does not start at 5 a.m.
Yeah. What is it? When does it start? Just out of curiosity. Is it like 8, 9, 7?
It's funny. So having had 4 days in a row where I didn't have to set an alarm, I would go to bed about 11 and wake up at 7.
Okay.
And I was waking up on my own and I'm like,
Boom.
why is it the same? When I go to bed at 10 and get up at 6, I do not feel this good.
Wow.
So 7 a.m.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah, that's good to know. But theoretically, like in another time zone, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's true. It's true.
That's like central time zone. Anyway. Well, happy summer to everybody that's listening. I'm not sure when this podcast is going to drop. Maybe you've been enjoying summer for a while, but if you're like us, you're always thinking about your next move. And today we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, which is getting help. Okay. I love to talk about getting help, especially for women. And often the help that we need is at home first. You guys hear me beating this drum all the time. But today we're going to talk about this idea of, I'm scared to hire, but I know I need it. Okay. So we're going to help you guys understand signs you need help, when you need help, frameworks for getting help, ways to get help that don't involve hiring a full-time person. I don't know. We're just going to do a deep dive into this idea of getting help both for work and home. And this is, I don't know, this is our superpower, you and me, I think.
Yeah, we enjoy leverage. You and I have never struggled with leverage.
Yeah. Well, at the beginning I did, but then once I got a taste.
Oh, you did?
You know? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right. I mean, I am from a hardworking farm family. You know, my family wasn't farmers, but my extended family was. So they were hard workers. And yeah, you got up, you did all the chores every day yourself, you know.
Well, and don't stop listening. Don't stop listening if you're like, well, I don't need help. Oh, wait. Maybe you just don't realize you need help.
Everybody already gets help. So it's funny when people have this idea like, oh, I don't need help, I don't need leverage, all this kind of stuff. It's like we already have tons of leverage and help in our lives. For instance, most of you go to a hairdresser to get your hair cut. Most of you go to a dentist to get your teeth cleaned. Most of you go to the oil change place to change your oil. You know, we're not doing a lot of those things anymore. Maybe at some point. Back in the, 1700s.
My brother still changes his oil, so there's still people doing that.
Oh, well, I thought you were going to say he cleans his own teeth. No. So that's better.
I love that perspective, though. Like, you're already having leverage in things that you just could never imagine doing yourself.
Right.
And so this isn't a foreign concept.
No.
This isn't a new idea that we're introducing into your life. Even though it kind of feels like maybe it is when you're hiring your first person or you're in a business and you're drowning, even if you're swimming hard. Like to Wendy's point, Wendy and I are both really hard workers, have a high capacity. We can do a whole lot more than the general public maybe.
Yeah.
But you don't even realize you're drowning because you're like, I'm swimming. And the people watching you are like, no, you're going nowhere, but just barely keeping your head above water.
That's so funny. It's because if I think about like, oh, she doesn't do her own laundry, then that's like some kind of, they're like a bad mom or something like that. But you would never say she doesn't change her own oil.
Right.
Right. And that makes her a bad mom. You know?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. I love that.
So let's jump into signs that you need help. And then once you listen to this, you can decide you don't need help. But listen to this before you tune out. So there are physical signs. And a lot of us are very good at not paying attention to our bodies. I know I'm one of those people for sure. Like the doctor's always like, well, where do you feel it? And I was like, I don't know. I just know that I hurt.
A tiny blinding pain behind my eye, but that's it.
Yeah. And you didn't feel anything until the migraine.
Yeah.
Because we're just not attuned to our bodies.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
when you feel sick to your stomach and you have not eaten anything, that is your body telling you something. If you are constantly feeling anxious, which often is the same thing as your stomach hurting, headaches that are not medical in any way. I know my biggest tell is not sleeping. Either I can't go to sleep or I go to sleep and then I wake up at 2 and I can't go back to sleep. That's what I've learned is my tell, my body's tell that I'm handling too much. I've got too much on my plate because I can't truly rest.
Well, and then aside from the physical signs, you probably have things going on in your life. For instance, signs from your customers or signs from your team if you've got one. So maybe you're dropping the ball, right? Maybe you're over-promising and under-delivering a lot. Maybe you're taking too long to respond, okay? And this isn't, waiting an hour. This is like not getting back to people for days. Maybe your work isn't that good. I can remember when I was growing my real estate business, the customer service suffered as my business grew because I had more clients and I couldn't service them all. So sometimes my sellers would get the 24-point marketing plan and sometimes they'd get the 17-point marketing plan because I really didn't have time for those 7 other points that I promised them at the listing appointment.
Yeah. Well, and I know sometimes for me, when I found myself saying, oh, that never happens. Oh, I'm sorry that I've never done that before. Like I remember the first time, because there were a few, when I forgot to book our family return flights on a trip. And that is not like some people, that's normal for them.
Yeah.
For me, that is very weird that I would have missed a very important detail like that. So when you start saying, that's never happened.
Did you just beat yourself up for weeks after that happened?
Oh my gosh. I just felt so, but at first I was like, I don't know what happened. And then I was beating myself up. And then
that's not like
it happened again. And then I was like, okay, we have a problem. Like I need to acknowledge that I'm not acting like myself because I'm not myself because I'm doing too much and I need some help. So when you start saying, that's never like me, that's funny, that never happens, pay attention.
Yeah. Or for some of us, we're just not servicing business. We've got leads in our garbage can that we're just letting sit there because we can't really get to them. So then you might have some signs from your team. You're not available to lead them. You're just not there. People on your team, they spell love Time. And if you're not able to have a conversation with someone in the moment, maybe your team members are like, oh, you're always so busy. I miss having lunch with you. Whatever that looks like, that can be a real sign that you need help.
And there may also be signs from your family and friends, like the people in real life outside of work may give you little signals. Like, if you're not present. One of the things I used to do is kind of like wake up in a conversation and realize that I have not been paying attention to what has been said and I don't know where we are in the conversation. So like not being present. Maybe they don't tell you that because they don't notice, but you realize, oh, I just completely zoned out on whatever's happening here because I was thinking about something else.
It's like when you're reading books to your kids. Did this ever happen to you?
Oh, yes.
When you're reading your books and like you're reading but like your mind is elsewhere and you're not really comprehending what's on the page. I haven't obviously read books to my kids for quite a few years now, but
no, totally.
Yeah, that's always bad. A lot of that's just you're super tired and you're a parent and all that kind of stuff, but
you're making it work. But,
yeah.
I know one thing that my family, I don't live near family, and so phone was pretty much how we communicate with each other. My family stopped calling me, stopped leaving a message, and I would call them and I'd be like, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. Like, call me. And they're like, why would you're never available. Like, I can never get you on the phone. I don't want you to feel bad because you can't talk to me. Or why would I leave a message? You don't ever call me back. So like, I know you'll see the missed call and eventually you'll call me. And I'm like, oh, like that's horrible.
Ouch.
So learn from me. These are all signs from the outside that maybe you are in need of some help. When people don't invite you places because they assume you're always going to be busy. That's hard.
Oof. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't invite you because I knew you couldn't come. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. That feels bad. Well, and, this is not necessarily like you're having a busy day or a busy week. We do have kind of busy seasons, but this is when your family is not going to say that unless they've called you many, many times and you have not answered. So, well, the first thing you need to do, and sometimes this step is actually the hardest step for people, is to identify the help you need, AKA the pain, right? So tuning into your own body, listening to those little signs around you, listening to that little intuition, that little gut check that's saying like, hey, this doesn't feel good anymore. And then asking yourself, well, where is the pain? Okay, not the physical pain, but where is the pain in my life? Where is the spot that's so messy that's causing me anxiety? So it might be, I come home every day and there is the biggest pile of laundry you've ever seen, in your laundry room. And you don't even want to go to that side of the house because, the laundry monster is there. And if one of your children goes missing, it's probably the laundry monster that's just eating it. So figuring that out and then, writing that down and then asking yourself, well, how can this pain be solved? Right? Instead of just ignoring it, which we're also good at sort of this, I don't know, what is it called? Disassociating?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all good at that.
That requires curiosity because I know if you've been living with the laundry monster for a long time, your mind says there's no other way. This is the only way that it could be solved.
Yeah.
So don't believe your mind when your mind says there's no way that this pain could be solved.
Yeah.
You must come with curiosity to this.
Yeah, so good. So you're asking yourself, how could this be solved? And then the second one you're asking is, okay, well, has anybody ever else had this problem? Has any other family in America or the world ever had, mostly America, we're the one with all the clothes, really. But has any other family in America had this laundry problem? Okay, great. Well, so then what are the options out there that people have solved this problem in the past? So if you've got a laundry problem, there's options. A, you could get your kids to do the laundry. B, you could get your spouse to do the laundry. C, you could pay someone to come in and do the laundry. D, you could actually get rid of a lot of clothes. It's kind of an extreme example, but this actually works, because then you can't just let it all pile up. If you've got 1,000 pairs of socks and you've got the closet in the bedroom, you know what I mean? As opposed to 2, you're going to do laundry more often. Or you could drop the laundry off at a laundromat, I guess, and they could wash and fold it for you. So I don't know, did I miss anything?
There's a lot of services now that'll come and pick up a bag of your laundry. Like in New York, it's super common, but now everywhere in the country you can get it, where you pay by the pound, they pick it up, and then they deliver it a few days later. So for that specific problem, there's even a 5th option.
Yeah. So then what you're going to do is look at all those options, and then you're going to pick one, and then you're going to try it out. It's like, well, actually, the laundry service was too expensive and I don't like it, or I tried to get my kids to do laundry, I didn't like it. But you have to stick with it for a hot minute to make sure it sticks. And that's how you roll with that leverage pain.
Well, and I love the laundry example because from an international level, like lots of socioeconomic levels, like outside of the United States, laundry is a thing they collectively do for each other, so it's not in Haiti. I remember when we went to Haiti, like a lot of people at different socioeconomic levels all had their laundry done by someone else.
Yeah.
It's actually not that weird outside of the United States. It's only weird here that we think that we have to do that, which is, I'm sure, some of that Midwestern pilgrim, we can do it all philosophy.
Yeah. I wish we could figure this out, because when you go to other places, it's actually, when you have a certain amount of wealth, not even a super amount of wealth, but a certain amount of wealth, you're expected to get help, and that help employs other people.
Exactly.
And it's a very weird thing in the United States where we feel like we have to do all of these things. And, especially women, all the data shows that it's getting better, but women do a disproportionate amount of household chores unless they're in a same-sex marriage. Then it's way more equitable. And then, they bear this like mental load of all these things that they're doing. So I don't know what it is about us here, but it's sure tough.
It's deep. It's deep in who we are as a culture.
Yeah, it's sure tough.
But, okay, so you've realized that you need help. You've identified the pain and maybe some solutions to it or some possible solutions. So let's deep dive in all the different ways that you can get help at work, at home. So, number one, maybe it's not a person. Maybe it's a system, which I know if you're thinking about the laundry example, you're like, how would a system help? Well, maybe there's a day you do laundry that it's Tuesday, I do laundry. This is the system. Or, we use an example of dropping leads. Like, what if you had a database that popped the people you hadn't talked to yet up to the top? What is the system that could maybe make it easier?
Or what if you had different baskets in your laundry room that was like whites, darks, colors? Like that's a system.
Yeah.
It's a tiny system, but it's still a system.
I fold the clothes when they come out of the laundry.
Right.
Like I don't put them in a basket and leave them there because I know for me, that's like a thing.
Yeah.
So if I let them go into a basket, they live there forever.
Yeah. Or the whole family folds clothes together.
Yeah.
In
like
a
that's
race.
A system. Make it a game.
In a race. Ooh, that's fun.
So don't necessarily think, the only solution to the problem is more people in my life. I need to hire somebody to do that. If you aren't good with systems, I'll say this in your business for sure, make sure you have someone. I mean, this is the first person you need to hire is somebody who is good at systems because a lot of the problems and the overwhelm can be solved with just better systems.
I love that. Well, and at home, you can hire a house manager.
Yeah.
That's your integrator right there.
It's true.
Yeah, that's your integrator right there.
Maybe there's technology solutions. I talked about the laundry service, or maybe you're behind on social media. You can use social media scheduling. I know Hootsuite was always a thing that automated posts and watched analytics. But is there a technology? Guys, I cannot say enough about using ChatGPT as a first draft of a lot of things that you need in your business. Even your system could be first drafted by ChatGPT or whatever robot you choose to engage in.
Yeah, it's so huge.
Yeah.
Well, and then really the last thing that you want to go to is, do I need to hire another person, right? And that can look like a number of different ways. It can look like part-time help. It can look like full-time help. But before you go to hiring that person, you really want to make sure that you can pay for this person, right? Every person in your life, and actually every system in your life, you should get a little ROI on it, or a big ROI, depending on your expenditure. If I am hiring a house manager, if I'm hiring someone to come and pick up my laundry, then I'm actually buying some of my time back. So wealthy people buy their time back, poor people sell their time. And if you want to grow an empire, right, and have a big life while doing it, you're going to really have to wrap your mind around this idea of, I can't do it all. I've only got 24 hours in a day. How do wealthy people do so much more than you do? It's because they have a lot of help. And in a way, it makes you a little helpless, right? But it's okay if you're not. Like, no one started out as a mom or a dad with this idea of like, I'm going to be the best parent I can be by being like number one in America at doing the laundry. Like, nobody aspires to that, right? And so this idea of buying your time back so that you can spend more time either on the things that you love or really, more time on growing, right? Growing the business.
Yeah.
Getting more profitable.
I mean, the time you weren't spending doing laundry, if you replace that with following up with clients, that's going to net you a huge ROI. Huge.
Yes.
And so I know for me, one of the things that I hired quickly at home was someone to pick my kids up from school when they were little, because they slept in the car, because my kids still, my 15-year-old still will fall asleep sometime on the way home from school.
That's so sweet.
He goes full kilter. And so when he has a moment, he just re-energizes.
So sweet.
But so it wasn't like I was missing quality time with them. And it was an hour and a half, honestly, of time sitting in the line and picking them up. And I got to meet with a client, sign a new listing, stay on top of things. And I was paying somebody $30 to go pick my kid up in one day. And I was signing a $600,000 listing. Like, yes, I will trade that time. So sometimes you're getting quality of life, like I just don't have to think about the laundry, but also you get a little more work time in to your day when you don't have to go home early to do whatever that thing is.
Yeah. So every person that you're hiring, you want to make sure you get a good ROI on it. But you know how I did it the first time? Because I think it's very, the title of this episode is Scared to Hire, but you need it. I think there is a lot of fear around hiring because you go from being self-employed to all of a sudden there's somebody else there that depends on you for their livelihood and for their family's livelihood. So that is a big responsibility as a business owner and as a leader. And it's not a responsibility I take lightly. And there's a way to think about it that makes it a lot easier. So my very first assistant, I knew that I needed someone 20 hours a week. And at the time in Austin, Texas, you could pay someone about $10 an hour. In 2011, I think is when I hired this person. And so I figured, so 20 hours a week times $10 an hour, that was $200 a week, which was about $800 a month. So for $800 a month, I bought essentially 80 hours of my time back. And I thought, gosh, what a great trade-off. So for $2,000, I bought 80 hours of my time back. Could I sell or get another half a listing in 80 hours?
For sure.
For sure. So if you think about it that way, it becomes really powerful. And honestly, the best investments that I've made in my life have been in people. We talk about rental properties, we talk about investing in the stock market, crypto, all the things, but you never hear anyone talk about investing in an amazing person and the incredible return that you could get from that investment.
Yeah. So you don't have to hire full-time immediately. You don't have to hire even somebody in person. Like my longest standing employee in our business has been with us for 11 years and she lives in the Philippines. And
what's her name?
Anne.
Shout out to Anne.
Anne is awesome.
She's been with you 11 years?
11 years.
Wow, you were in the Philippines before everybody else was.
Before it was cool.
Yeah.
And we actually went and visited Anne.
You did? Oh, on your trip?
In 2020. Yeah.
That's so
during our trip. Because I was like, if I'm going to be in Asia, so close to the Philippines, why wouldn't I go and see Anne? I'm
dying to hug my ladies over there. I don't even know how tall they are,
Yeah. You need to do it. But,
I want to hug them.
That's a thing. And Anne is an integral part of our business. She started doing data entry and now she literally, besides Joshua, she's the only one who knows how to do everything.
I love that.
She handles all our customer service. And so this person doesn't have to look a certain way, doesn't have to be a full-time person. She did start full-time with us, but she didn't have to. We had the option of hiring her part-time. And so is it part-time? Is it virtual? Is it technology, like we've already talked about? What does that leverage look like? And don't feel like the only option is to hire somebody with a salary and benefits and, that's all I need.
That's so good, Tiffany. I actually had this aha recently. So our sales team was getting, we were just feeling a little, depressed, if that makes sense. We've been in a declining market for 3 years here in Austin. Our average price point has gone down over $100,000 over the last 3 years. And,
that's hard.
As everybody knows, it's hard out there right now. And so we were just feeling kind of flat and blah. And I myself was getting a little down because I was like, when you do a big contest or a competition, you have to really hold the space for that. You have to bring the energy, do the things, hold the space for it, do all the thinking around it. And it just felt so kind of overwhelming for me with everything else that I have going on. And so Megan Henry, who's a coach with MAPS Coaching, some of you know that, it's affiliated with KW, she reached out to me and she's like, hey, I have this little program where essentially she creates a sales competition and it's a 12-week program. And anyway, I'm not going to go into all the details. It was amazing, but I was able to hire her to hold the space and be the person and answer the questions and listen to the role play, come up with the ideas for what I felt was a very small amount of money over the course of 12 weeks. And it was just a huge aha for me because, wow, like you can literally hire anyone for anything right now. You got a problem? Yo, someone will solve it.
Someone will solve
you know?
it. That's right.
And yeah, so just a good reminder of like, even if you need someone for 12 weeks in your business to like, and it's crazy, like it totally did the trick, totally solved our problem. We've got, referrals and leads and stuff up the wazoo. And so anyway, just a good reminder.
Yeah. So once you've identified that you need help or admitted that you need help, then you've gone through, what do I need help in? Then you're looking at, all right, what are all the solutions? Now you come to, okay, but do I really have the money? Like, how do I pay for this person? Because especially if you're bringing on an actual employee, whether it's a 1099 or if you're bringing on a human, part-time or full-time, you're becoming partially responsible for them.
I love how you say partially. I think that's good. I think that's smart.
Yeah, you're not fully responsible for them. Like
No,
you
of
can't
course
make
not.
I have to tell myself that all the time. I can't want this more than they do. Like I can't want it for them more than they do. But you are responsible for knowing I've got a good runway, I can pay them, and I've got an opportunity here for them. And I remember when I hired my first person and it was like, how much money? Like it was part-time, but how much of their salary do I need to have in the bank so that I could feel confident that we're not going to run out of money? Like I can afford, quote unquote, afford to do it.
Yeah.
And I know we landed at 3 months because 3 months is what we felt like. And this was before a 30, 60, 90 thing that Keller Williams had, which is a great runway launch for somebody. But I felt like in 3 months, they'll be good enough at their job that I can generate more money because they've taken that 80 hours that you've talked about.
Yeah, because it's not going to happen the first month because
it's going to be
spending
worse.
Yeah, you're going to actually be losing money because you're going to be training them. You're going to be spending all that time with them. Yeah. The first 2 months are kind of more like a pain.
Yeah. Is 3 months your target too?
Yeah, 3 months is our target. So I think about that first assistant, so I had 20 hours a week times $10 an hour. So that was $200 a week times 12 weeks. So yeah, it was like $2,500 in the bank.
Yeah.
And then once you have that, you're like, deploy, it's like any investment. Think about it. If you are buying an investment property, what are you doing? You're saving up money for the down payment.
Yeah.
Right? Saving up money for the down payment. Once you have that down payment, deploy. And then take the actions that's going to cause it to give you a return. So get a tenant in there, fix it up, right? Train the person, make sure they know what they're doing, spend time with them, teach them your culture, all that kind of stuff. Same exact thing, same kind of investment. I feel like I'm making it sound too cavalier. It's actually a person, and I don't feel that way about my people. But I think it is a good way to think about it. Like you are investing and you need to get a return on it, and it's super important. So,
and if you require a return in the first 30 days, you will never get where you want to go.
No,
so that's why you need to have a runway.
Yep. Well, so this episode was so good, you guys. Just this idea of understanding when you need help. We've given you a lot of frameworks for how to do that. First of all, you need to listen to the signs. Okay. The signs are going to be all over the place. You're going to be feeling it in your body. Your family's going to be, yelling at you. Your clients are going to be whispering to you. Your team is going to be sad they don't see you. So identifying that the pain is there and then figuring out a model, right? We're very models based here on the Empire Building podcast, and figuring out a model in order to solve your problem. And then thinking about it, is the model, do I need a system? Can I use technology? Do I need a person? And then not necessarily having to hire a full-time person. You could get a team member in the Philippines who works part-time. You could get someone in the United States who works part-time. You could hire someone for 12 weeks. You could hire a fractional CMO. There's just so many options these days in terms of hiring that person. And then, of course, always making sure that you have the money to be profitable, because that's what we do here at Empire Building. We make sure our businesses are profitable because that is the purpose of business, is to fund our perfect lives, but also, you need money to do that. So, yeah.
For sure. Well, if this has been helpful to you, please share this episode with someone, or we would love and appreciate a 5-star review on the podcast, because we want to hear how we are helping to build your big businesses, but also your big lives.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Have a great week.
Any text or materials generated by artificial intelligence, AI, should be reviewed for accuracy and reliability, as there may be errors, omissions, or inaccuracies. This podcast is for general informational purposes only. The views, thoughts, and opinions of the guest represent those of the guest and not Keller Williams Realty LLC and its affiliates, and should not be construed as financial, economic, legal, tax, or other advice. This podcast is provided without any warranty or guarantee of its accuracy, completeness, timeliness, or results from using the information.